Youth League President Fikile Mbalula was head of campaigns then, and you may remember that the ANC experienced a few PR hiccups here and there, one mainly in the form of that split and formation of COPE. This time around there have been as well some hurdles, if I can put it politely. We know that there have been a few tensions here and there with regards to the tripartite alliance and the union members as well. But I want to ask now that this manifesto has been launched, how it will go about addressing some of those concerns and how it will go about clinching victory, as we saw in 2009. Whether or not this manifesto will go a long way to securing the victory of the ANC once again, as we saw, despite all the turmoil of 2009. So with me, I've got the top dogs, if I can say that, and it seems to be running in that Youth League circle. Remember, I told you a little bit earlier as I introduced this insert that former Youth League President Fikile Mbalula was head of campaigns. This time around, the chairperson of the election campaign is, of course, Malusi Gigaba, and his deputy is Togo Didiza. They're both NEC members as well. Let me start with you and save the best for last, if I can. I want to ask from you if you think that this election manifesto is enough to clinch a victory for the ANC.
Well, the elections manifesto that the president will unveil today, that we will launch, it goes far enough. It's going to address all the pertinent questions that our people have been raising. I think, as we have been indicating throughout the week, the most prominent item on the elections campaign of the ANC for this year is the economy. It will do its part, but ultimately the people who are going to win the ANC these elections are these people who are going to be coming here at the stadium, who will fill the stadium up, who will fill up the overflows, who will be watching at home, the volunteers of the ANC all over the country. The machinery of the ANC is so extensive. It's admirable if you support the ANC. It's scary if you don't support the ANC. So we are activating that entire machinery, rallying it into action to defend the ANC, to advance the ideals and principles of the ANC, the reasons for which the ANC was established 102 years ago, for which we have existed for this long, because the ANC hasn't lived for 102 years merely out of survivalist instincts. It has survived and lived for this long because it has always remained relevant to the most basic aspirations of our people. Our people have seen it as their leader. It has earned their respect.
What I want to know now, because Utatu Kigaba has alluded to the fact that the people are the machinery, the people are the focus, that this manifesto is very people-centered as much as it touches on economic aspects. You have conducted a number of manifesto forums. What have the people had to say about what they want included in this manifesto?
As the chairperson Malusi Gigaba has indicated, the central pillar of this manifesto is how we transform the economy and broaden the participation of the majority of South Africans in order for them to realize the ideals of the organization and what we stood for many years. These are some of the things that emanate from those manifesto forums. But also in the manifesto forums, one of the things that emerged was building on the priorities of the 2009 elections, particularly affirming and continuing the struggle of enhancing our education system and ensuring more participation of young people, but also looking at the issues of youth employment, which again, as you know, that these elections is about majority of the young people of this country. Also, the issue of health has again been affirmed, and our citizens have actually, through those manifesto forums, says we need to build on this priority. So indeed, in my own view, this manifesto carries the wishes of what the people of South Africa have said they would like the ANC to do during these elections, during this coming 5 years.
Of course, we know that the election campaign kicks up another notch, it goes up another gear at the formation or the launch of this manifesto today. So I want to know from here on in what happens. Is it door-to-door campaigns? Is it a Twitter campaign? Is it both? Perhaps an inclusion of red berets for the ANC? Tell us a bit about what this day will start in terms of the campaign itself.
Well, indeed, as soon as the president launches the manifesto, it is no rest for us. We're going to go flat out to reach out to every corner of this country, every street, every household, to reach out to every South African, to doing the door-to-door campaign, using the social networks, using every possible mechanism you can find to be able to win an election campaign. Obviously, this is the first stage of the campaign itself, because previously we've been preparing for this. We've been continuing with the door-to-door campaign, getting people registered. We still are going to focus between now and the end of the registration process on the voter registration, because ultimately you win the elections depending on the number of people you've registered who will vote for you and back you up. And so we will continue to ensure voter registration, but we will also now be talking about what our plans are going forward. The most important thing about this particular manifesto is that it also carries in itself the hallmarks of the last 20 years. It talks about what we've achieved in the last 20 years and the challenges which remain lingering, that still remain to be resolved. And so we will be talking to our people about what are the challenges going forward. And the manifesto addresses itself in a way to what has happened and been achieved, and it remains focusing, as the president said last night, on the 5 priorities which we identified in the 2009 elections. But then it adds up new elements which only the president can talk about, which I think are going to excite the youth. They're going to excite the people of South Africa. The ANC has learned after 20 years in government. We know better now what to do. We have the experience to take the country forward. We have the political machinery to do so. We've established the structures to do that. And we continue to renew not only ourselves as the ANC, but also the institutions and systems of governance. And so we are prepared, we are ready. It's all systems go. All we want to do now is to get over this rally and start doing our work on the ground.
I can almost see the dust on your feet. You're ready to rumble, you're ready to run. We will speak more about what the campaign has in store, finding out about what the passing of Utatu Nelson Mandela means for this election campaign. Does it make the job more harder for them, or does it somewhat make it a bit easier? Will it buy them votes? We'll get that sneaky question in a little bit later, and also find out about the Goldman Sachs report, of course, highlighting the progress of the ANC, the past 20 years of the ANC-led government, of course. So we'll get all those details and more in just a moment. We wrap right now and we take it back to you in studio.